What's up guys, Purple Guy here, and today I'm going over my AK74U build. Doing this as a mini-series so that you can get acquainted with my equipment if you're watching one of my gameplay videos and wonder, what does he have? So the base is a Cyma standard AK74U, specifically the CMO45A. I got it around Christmas time in 2021, filling out my resolution to not be an M4 guy, and since then, I've fallen in love. Dead stock, I took it out to my first few couple of games, and it ran beautifully on a 7.4. Dead stock as in with a yellow maple leaf hop-up bucking I swapped out for the stock one. Initially, I wanted to run it just like this, a rail mount and a holographic sight, as I do in my favorite VR game, Onward.
I'm a I'm a terrorist.
But I saw a few Zenitco builds, and I got tired with its front heaviness, so I went with something I could mount a foregrip on. On top, I run an LCT railed gas tube for a thinner profile, and the option to mount accessories if needed. On the bottom, I run an Avengers B11 rail, I believe. I'll link it in the description. Just a quick side note, but anything you get for an AK that's Zenitco related, especially the rails, you'll probably have to Dremel down. I've mounted rail shims with M-lock screws and a stubbier LCT flash hider to hug walls and CQB better. Oh, and a BCM foregrip / hand stop. Side note, but the stock flash hider on these is impossible to get off. I'd ended up having to just Dremel mine off. Naturally, I ditched the optic and optic mount because all aluminum and pot metal everything gets heavy quick. But sometimes I run it with a Vism red dot and PEC box combo. But only sometimes.
Okay, you're coming off, buddy.
You don't really need a laser, but I always imagine it being way cooler designating targets to my team with a small laser. Plus, I get a flashlight with it. The grip is a PTS licensed US palm grip that are sadly discontinued. I bought it for my E&L back before parts started springing out of it and it began to rust, and because the grip didn't fit it, I just put it in the parts box. There's a small piece of grip tape here since I over-dremeled for fitment and it didn't look pretty. I mean, it still doesn't look pretty, but it's better than a gaping hole to catch the loose folds of my glove. I only rock it in this configuration with these Matrix 170 round mid caps. These are good mid caps and feed super well, but there's a noticeable wobble and the lips have begun to crack because I like to manhandle my toy guns. I don't know if I can recommend these because one of my mags has already been rendered unusable by this issue. In the future, I might spray paint it. However, externally, this is as far as I think I'll go with it. Internally, I started with an aforementioned maple leaf bucking, but I presume it pushed my barrel too far back and didn't allow the clip to sit right, resulting in all my shots skewing to the left. I paired it with a Modify 6.01 barrel for a weekend, and the day before going to my first big event, I opened her up and the barrel was full of BB shards and clogged. I gave up on the setup, and after misplacing the original barrel, I used some of my spare parts, that being a VFC MP5 barrel I believed to be the original, and a Crytac bucking I bought a while ago, and the original nub that came stock with the gun. Setup works great, not R-Hop Dutch the Hooligan perfection accuracy, but it's good enough to where I hit people pretty easily at range. Finishing up on the hop unit, I have a small O-ring that interfaces with the front of the gearbox to provide a better air seal. On top of that, I have a smaller O-ring sitting beneath the hop-up slider. This is so that there's friction beneath the hop-up slider and it doesn't adjust itself while shooting. This O-ring came completely stock with my AK, which is why I prefer Cyma over other brands. Gearbox-wise was a hassle. I wanted to get it to a higher FPS than 298 on a .28 BB, which is what I was getting stock because f*** you Evike for falsely advertising. So I threw in several springs. I don't recommend these ASG springs. They always give me 100 to 50 FPS less than they advertise, because in here I'm running an M115 by ASG advertised to give 375 FPS, and I'm getting 310 to 300 with .28s. I usually power it with a Titan 7.4, however I don't recommend Titan power since I've had two batteries of theirs fall apart from the exact same way. Electrically, I'm running a Rocket SHS version 3 fuseless trigger contact. That channels into a ZCI high torque motor. I dig ZCI for the low price and high quality. Nothing flashy, but it does the job. The slow fire rate with the high power spring wasn't balanced enough for me, so I threw in 12-to-1 gears. It's not a BB hose on the 7.4 battery I run it safely on, but paired with the aforementioned torque motor gives it a comfortable cycle speed. The stock Cyma bushings sat too tight with the SHS gears, so I replaced them with the bushings from my MP5K, which they ride pretty smoothly on. Compression-wise, I'm running the stock cylinder and piston, just with a stretched O-ring. As a newer tech, I prefer plastic tooth pistons because they indicate where something might have gone wrong by the noticeable wear. Additionally, I run a 21mm max nozzle and an EPES cylinder head. All those parts sit nicely in a radiused gearbox shell. Placing it on the scale.
weighs around 6.5 pounds.
When she's fitted back together, she runs beautifully. And to prove it, here's her in action. Its low weight makes it super easy to carry. It transitions from left to right hand shooting a breeze. You're hit, right? Oh, hit that guy in the nut. There's nobody there. There's nobody behind the... Oh shit. My mag fell out. How the fuck does that happen? Nappy cycling is a huge plus thanks to the gears and motor. As you can see, the barrel assembly makes close quarter engagements a breeze, and cross-mapping people isn't very difficult either. Hit! You friendly? What the fuck happened? Someone mentioned the sling makes transitions from primary to secondary a breeze. Hit! Moving.
There's smell. What? They are the